Welcome to the end of illusions. Welcome to the point of no return. You didn't stumble here by chance. This moment, this truth, this fire, it found you. It hunted you through your lies, through your comfort, through every fake smile you wore just to convince the world you were fine. But now, the mask is off, and the world, it saw you. You revealed too much, and no matter how much you want to rewind, erase, or disappear, you can't. There's no coming back from this. And maybe that's exactly what you needed. Because the truth is, we don't grow in silence. We grow in the aftermath. In the aftermath of breakdowns, betrayals, and brutal honesty. And you. Yes, you. You cracked the surface. You turned their trust into suspicion, their confidence into a disaster. You said too much, showed too much, and now they look at you differently, don't they? But listen to me. Stop trying to fix their image of you. You're not here to be their peace. You're not here to be the version of yourself they were comfortable with. You're here to become what you were too afraid to be before everything fell apart. That one slip, that one confession, that one vulnerable moment, it shattered the illusion. And now, in the ruins, in the ashes of your former self, is where the real you begins. You think you've lost everything. You think your reputation is ruined, your chance is gone, your identity stripped. Good. That means the lie is dead. That means there's finally room to build the truth. The version of you that doesn't beg for validation. The version that doesn't mold itself to survive. The version that doesn't flinch under pressure, but becomes pressure itself. This is not your downfall. This is your uprising. Not the polished, pretty kind. The gritty, angry, desperate kind. The kind that keeps moving, even when everything is burning behind you. Because here's the reality. They won't forget what you said. They won't forget what you exposed. But maybe that's your power now. Maybe what you revealed was the monster they tried to suppress. And monsters don't apologize. You feel alone now, don't you? Misunderstood, labeled, judged. But loneliness is not a punishment. It's a preparation. You were too accessible, too agreeable, too manageable. And now that you've ripped that comfort from their hands, now that you've shown the chaos behind your calm, they recoil. They don't know what to do with this version of you. Good. Let them sit with that. Let them watch you rise from the truth they tried to bury. You spoke the unspeakable. Exposed the parts of you they weren't ready to see. You didn't fit the mold anymore. And the world? It loves control. It loves a clean narrative. But you broke the story. You burned the script. And now, with nothing left to lose, you are more dangerous, more powerful, more real than ever before. Let them doubt you. Let them whisper. Let them call you reckless, unstable, dramatic. Whatever they need to say to feel better about how small they are compared to the storm you've become. Because storms don't explain themselves. They arrive, they destroy, and they transform everything in their path. You were never meant to be accepted by everyone. You were meant to disturb the comfortable, to shake foundations, to awaken what has been sleeping inside of you for far too long. You were not made to fade into background noise. You were made to rupture the silence. And this rupture, it starts now. Forget their timelines. Forget their advice. Forget their expectations. You didn't survive what you survived just to go back to being palatable. You didn't expose your wounds just to pretend they don't exist. This isn't about being liked. This is about being free. This is about facing the fallout and walking straight through it, eyes open, heart burning, fists clenched, not to fight others, but to fight the part of you that still begs for mercy from a world that never gave you any. You told the truth, didn't you? Maybe not perfectly, maybe not kindly, but it was real. And now it's out. Now you get to see who stays. Now you get to watch who only loved you for your silence. The moment you stopped making them comfortable, you became the enemy. But understand this, you didn't lose them. They lost access to your fake agreement, and in return, you gained access to your real voice. You may be isolated now. People may be pulling away. Let them. People fall away when you start honoring the parts of yourself that no longer align with their comfort zones. Let them retreat. You're not here to beg. You're here to become. You already went too far. You can't undo it. And that's perfect. Because now, there's nothing to fear. Now you don't need to hold back. The worst has already happened, and you're still breathing. You're still here. That means you're still in the game. And guess what? I have no idea what that means for them. You've been playing small for too long. Now, you're a threat. They underestimated the consequences of underestimating you. They thought breaking your image would break your spirit, but you're still standing, and that shakes them. Because strength in silence is predictable, but strength in exposure, that's terrifying. That's uncontrollable. That's you now. This speech isn't for redemption. It's not for comfort. It's not for second chances. This is your declaration. This is your vow that from this point on, you will walk with the full weight of your truth. That you will burn bridges, not to destroy others, but to destroy every path back to the version of yourself that stayed quiet just to be liked. You just revealed too much. Good. That means you can never be fake again. That means you can never unsee what you've seen. That means the illusion is shattered. And from this shattered place, you don't rebuild, you reinvent. They used to trust you. You turned their confidence into disaster. But maybe they were confident in the wrong things. Maybe they trusted the version of you that played along, the one that wore the mask, the one that bled in silence. And now that you've become raw, real, unpredictable, they panic. Let them. You didn't come this far just to blend in. You came to ignite, and from this moment forward, no more holding back, no more filters, no more shrinking, no more fitting in rooms that were never built to hold your full capacity. You're not here to decorate the space, you're here to expand it. What they think you lost, you turned into fuel. What they call shame, you turned into clarity. What they call a breakdown, you turned into transformation. And from here, you don't retreat, you charge forward. They want you to feel like you've made a mistake, that you opened too much, spoke too soon, revealed too deeply. But what they don't realize is that you did it on purpose. Maybe not consciously, maybe not even strategically, but something inside you was done playing safe. Something inside you was ready to detonate. And now that it's out, let it all out. There's no need to patch it up, no need to explain. You don't owe the world an apology for finally showing who you really are. You owe yourself something greater, the permission to live boldly in that truth without shame, without apology, without limits. So let this be your turning point, not quietly, not politely, but with the full force of your fire. Burn through the fear, walk into the storm, and become the version of yourself that only reveals when there's no turning back. You've already crossed that line, and the other side, that's where your power lives. That's where your voice roars. That's where they can no longer control you. You just revealed too much. because too much was always what you were meant to be. There's no coming back. And that's the best thing that ever happened to you. Let them talk. Let them stare. Let them dissect your downfall with their fragile words and second-hand opinions. Because none of them, not one, was there in the room when your soul cracked open. None of them held the weight you did. None of them fought those private battles in the middle of the night, fists clenched against a ceiling that refused to answer your prayers. They think they know you because they saw a version, but that version is dead. You buried it the moment you told the truth, the moment you said too much, the moment you became irreversible. And that's what they fear, the irreversible, because people love their illusions. They love the fake comfort of predictability, but you've become unpredictable now. You've become wild, unfiltered, unscripted, and that makes you powerful in a way they can't comprehend. You broke the rules, you shattered the image, and in doing so, you shattered their control. They'll say you ruined it, that you could have had it all if you just stayed silent, that you almost had their acceptance if you just kept your truth locked away behind your eyes. But almost is not power. Almost is a leash. And you didn't come this far just to be someone's well-trained version of strength. You didn't come here to be tamed. You came here to be unleashed. So let the silence grow around you. Let the calls stop coming. Let the distance increase. Because in that silence, there's a gift. You are no longer needed, and being unneeded is the ultimate freedom. When no one is relying on your silence, when no one is invested in your mask, when no one is expecting you to play along anymore, that's when your real life begins. That's when your real self steps forward. You revealed too much? Then let them hear everything. Don't stop now. Don't shrink back into the shadows. Don't apologize for breaking open. Dig deeper. Drag more of yourself into the light. Make them uncomfortable with the truth. Let your honesty stain every room you walk into. Be the reminder that they too are hiding something, that they too are afraid of what would happen if they exposed their truth. You became the mirror, and mirrors are dangerous to people who refuse to look at themselves. And yes, it hurts. It hurts to know you can never go back. It hurts to see the look in their eyes change. It hurts to watch them step away slowly, like you've become radioactive. But what they don't see is that you were always radioactive. You were always pulsing with energy, waiting to be released. This moment, this fallout, it's not a mistake. It's an evolution. You didn't reveal too much. You revealed just enough to detonate the next version of yourself. Stop mourning who you were. That version of you, silent, controlled, digestible, was never your destiny. That version was survival, and you've outgrown survival. Now you're walking into domination, and domination doesn't look like applause. It looks like being alone. It looks like being misunderstood. It looks like losing the crowd and finding yourself. Because here's the truth, most people won't say out loud. Power is lonely. Real power, not performative, social media ready power, but actual, soul deep, storm-born power. The kind that no longer checks the temperature of the room before speaking. The kind that walks away rather than compromises. The kind that would rather stand alone in the ruins of honesty than sit comfortably in a palace built on lies. So what now? Now that you've said too much? Now that your name feels like a warning in their mouths, you build. Not to prove them wrong, not to win them back, but to become the living proof that there is life after exposure, that there is power after the fall, that there is clarity after chaos. You just revealed too much, And now you are too much. And I want you to sit in that. I want you to let that truth fill your lungs like fire. I want you to stop editing yourself. No more shrinking. No more backspacing your soul. No more rewriting your identity for people who are only ever in love with your silence. Because this, you, right now, you are terrifying. You are everything they never wanted you to be. Honest, unfiltered, unpredictable, sovereign. You are the version they can't use. The version they can't manipulate. The version they can't categorize, pacify, or shame. You are the version that burns cities and builds empires in the same breath. They thought your silence was strength. They were wrong. Your strength was never in what you hid. It was always in what you had the courage to say out loud, despite the consequences, despite the fallout, despite the fact that you knew exactly what would be lost. Once the truth left your lips, and now that the storm has come, now that the sky has split, what's left? Just you. Raw, real, reborn. They thought your confidence was the threat, but no, it was your honesty, your willingness to be vulnerable, to risk everything by telling the truth. That's the real danger, because the world doesn't know what to do with people like you. People who don't play by the rules, people who are willing to lose everything to gain themselves. You turn their confidence into a disaster, and maybe that's the most honest thing you've ever done. Maybe they shouldn't have placed their confidence in a version of you that never existed. Maybe their disaster was the birth of your freedom. And now, you don't go back. You don't clean it up. You don't soften your truth to make others comfortable again. You keep walking. With every step, you sharpen. With every breath, you harden. Not because you're bitter, but because you're becoming exactly what this world tried to prevent. Someone who no longer needs approval. You don't need applause. You don't need redemption. You don't even need forgiveness. What you need, what you've always needed, is to finally live without the leash of other people's comfort. And that begins now. That begins at the moment of exposure, at the moment when you revealed too much and everything changed. They're watching. Let them. They're whispering. Let them. They're backing away. Let them. Because what's coming next, it's not about them. It never was. It's about you. Fully, finally, fearlessly. You can't undo it. You can't rewind it. And that's the power of this moment. There is no coming back. And that's exactly where your greatness begins. You thought this was the end? Number. This is where it truly begins. Because the version of you that cracked open, that spilled everything, that exposed the raw nerves under your skin, that version wasn't weak. That version wasn't lost. That version was becoming. And what they mistook for collapse was actually your becoming uncontainable. You didn't ruin your life. You ended the version of it that was never yours to live in the first place. You shattered the lie, and now that the lie is dead, so is the cage it built around you. You can't crawl back into it. You wouldn't fit anymore, even if you tried. You just revealed too much. Then reveal more. Let the world see it all. Let them tremble in the face of someone who no longer wears armor. You have nothing left to protect except your authenticity. And authenticity, once it's free, doesn't walk. It consumes. It demands space. It rearranges reality. You're not broken. You're in bloom. Not the soft springtime bloom they romanticize, but the violent bloom. The one that splits concrete. The one that erupts through foundations. The one that shows up without permission, without apology, and without needing to be watered by anyone else. The bloom of truth. You're not safe anymore. Not to them. Not to the systems that fed off your silence. You're no longer the compliant version of yourself. And yes, they'll call that a problem. They'll call it ego. They'll call it arrogance. But what they're really saying is, we can't manipulate you anymore. They don't get to control this narrative. You do. They don't get to rewrite your story as a cautionary tale, because you're still here, still standing, still breathing. And while they're scrambling to explain your transformation, you're already 10 steps ahead, building something they'll never understand. They wanted your silence. Now they can choke on your voice. You don't owe the world a palatable version of your pain. You don't need to tuck your truth into a neat little box just to make others feel secure in their delusions. Your truth was never meant to be comfortable. It was meant to be cataclysmic. You are not here to keep the peace. You are the breaking of the peace that was built on pretending. You were not born for a quiet life. You were not born to tiptoe. You were not born to be digestible. You were born with edges, born with fire, born with a truth so loud it refused to be buried beneath polite conversations and fake smiles. And now that it's out, now that you've exposed the storm inside, you see it, don't you? You see how small the world tried to make you. You see how they only clapped for you when you were controlled. You see how every compliment was conditional. And now, you don't want their applause. You want the kind of silence that follows after an earthquake. The kind where everyone finally realizes nothing will ever be the same again. You revealed too much. Number. You revealed just enough to make sure you'd never be imprisoned again. They think you destroyed something. But all you did was destroy the lie that they needed you to maintain so they could stay comfortable. You didn't burn down the house. You burned down the illusion. The illusion that you'd always stay quiet, that you'd always be predictable, that you'd always be the same. And now, they fear what you'll do next. Let them, because what's coming next? You, unleashed. Not the echo of who you were, not the people-pleasing shapeshifter you trained yourself to be, but the real you, the you that's been clawing its way through layers of fear, shame, and expectation. The you that no longer fears rejection because you've already faced it and survived. The you that walks into rooms knowing exactly who you are, even if no one else can handle it. And that's the point. You are not here to be handled. You are here to shake, to wake, to break what needs to be broken so truth can finally rise in its place. Let them miss the old you. Let them mourn the version of you they thought they could control. Let them get angry. Let them distance themselves. That's not your concern anymore. You didn't come this far to beg for seats at tables that collapse under the weight of honesty. You didn't come this far to be understood by those who've never even tried to understand themselves. You didn't come this far to settle back into comfort. You came this far to become untouchable. Yes, you've been bruised. Yes, you've been burned. Yes, your name may carry weight now, not with admiration but with discomfort. And that's exactly right. Because the goal was never to be liked. The goal was to be free. You were never meant to be their lesson. You were meant to be the warning. They will speak your name and remember what truth sounds like when it's not watered down. They will speak your name and feel the cost of what it means to finally become. You are not their story. You are the author of your own. And in this story, you don't crawl back. You don't apologize. You don't whisper. You roar. You don't fade. You expand. You don't go back. You blow the bridge to pieces so no one ever thinks you'd return to that smaller version of yourself again. They thought they could make you regret being real, but instead, you made them regret depending on your silence. You just revealed too much? Good. Now they know what you're capable of when you stop hiding. Now they know who you are when you stop shrinking. Now they see that what they thought was a mistake was your ascension, and they can't unsee it, they can't undo it, and neither can you. This is the beginning of everything you were always meant to become. No masks, no lies, no coming back. Only forward, only fire, only truth.